Greetings, intrepid authors. Welcome to the adventure. For those of you who don't know me, my name is Zach Pieper, and you can follow me over on my main channel, my personal channel, I should say, Zach Pieper, where I do book reviews, talk about some of my own personal ideas around creative writing, some other nonsense. But all of that is frankly beside the point, because today we're here to talk about ChatGPT and its overarching and long-reaching implications for independent authors, readers, the literary market in general, as well as some other AI that you should be aware of, as it might be both a tool in your kit and a potential stumbling block. Let's get into it. Now, I'm not going to give you an entry-level primer into ChatGPT, what it is, or how to use it. If you're on this video, you probably at least know what it is, and there's about 1,000,001 videos on how to use it. And by the way, there's Skillshare classes that you can take to find out how to use it with a certain level of mastery and expertise. I took such a class. That's part of why I'm doing this video, to bring to you the information I gleaned. One of the places ChatGPT is absolutely going to stand out for authors is a research assistant. It used to be that you had to do tons of reading, you had to watch documentaries, you may have even had to go and interview experts or people that had a first-hand knowledge of an account to get the real story. Now, for some niche information or things like oral traditions, things that don't exist on the internet, that's still going to be the case. But anything that's well documented, anything that is subject to a large degree of academic study, a large degree of journalistic documentation, ChatGPT is going to have a pretty good idea about it and a lot of the information concerning it. So if you want to look up some summaries, say for the logic philosophical tradition that Ludwig Wittgenstein and Bertrand Russell are famously part of, ChatGPT can give you a pretty good summary of those things. I can hear a certain emo Canadian screaming at me in the distance. Likewise, if you want to get some information on fields of scientific research that are emerging, ChatGPT will have you covered on that a good chunk of the time as too. Ask it about psilocybin's effects on the brain, and to cite the relevant research, it'll pump it out right away. And while I do recommend you fact check anything ChatGPT says to you, generally speaking, issues that are apolitical, you're going to get a pretty good answer and a pretty truthful answer. Which leads me to my next issue. If you ask ChatGPT something that is politically contentious, something that there is a large degree of political turmoil about, expect to get an answer which may or may not be totally factual and may or may not lean one direction in its answer. I'm not taking a political stance here. This is purely factual. I asked it to list studies about transgender surgeries and procedures, and I'm familiar with these studies through personal research for personal reasons. And one study it listed I've read before, and it flat out lied about what the study said. I confronted ChatGPT that it lied and copy and pasted the results and conclusion from the study itself, and ChatGPT flat out admitted that it made an error because it undeniably did. So, when you're using ChatGPT as a research assistant, and I recommend for the time being that you do, it can be incredibly useful, save you a lot of time. It is important to fact check it, especially on anything that's of political concern. Furthermore, authors need to be aware of the emerging, shall we say, gray market of AI-produced content. We are quickly heading for a world where you have to be suspect of everything you're reading potentially being written by ChatGPT or another text generation AI. It's simply the way things are going. There's no avoiding it. There's no turning back. So, if you think that the world of art is going to escape that, I'm sorry, you're sadly mistaken. We as authors need to be very mindful that in the near future, we are going to be competing not just with books written by other authors, but very likely already are competing with books written by AI. Now, I hear some of you typing away in the comments already, but Zach, they're already instituting safeguards against that on some platforms. And that's true. They are. However, it is my humble opinion that those safeguards are not going to be sufficient. Generally speaking, the technology that the safeguard was created to curtail is always one step ahead of the curtailing technology. And that's just a repeating pattern across the entirety of human technological evolution. And while I'm not going to spend too much time talking to you about this because this video is primarily about ChatGPT, I do want to remind you that image generation software is also rapidly evolving. Leonardo AI is one of the newest and hottest tools on the market to engage in this endeavor, and as you can see, some of the artwork produced by this AI is very high quality. Some of the images created by this AI are so real that you cannot tell that it is not a real person. Simply a filtered photo. As far as you using this technology, it is not hard to get a good feel for it, to begin obtaining a mastery of it in real time. My current account on Leonardo is free. And good news for you writer types, Leonardo AI seems to respond pretty positively to artistic language. Let's whip something up off the top of our heads, shall we? A sojourn into the winter abyss, leaving me hollow. The night's cruel moon shining upon all my greatest sins. And let's see what that gives us. I wrote a whole novel. Somehow I still can't consistently spell properly. And voila. I don't know about you, but for something that I cobbled together out of a rapidly produced line of throwaway poetry and took 10 seconds to generate for free, I'd say that's pretty good. And in closing, something that I want to stress upon all of you, everyone who sees this, regardless of whether you consider yourself a reader, writer, or anything else. AI is the emerging tech of the day. It's the next internet. It's the next cryptocurrency. It's the next gold rush. If you are not learning about AI, if you are not figuring out how it works, how you can use it to further yourself and your skill set, if you are not learning how to prompt engineer, you're doing yourself an incredible disservice. I highly recommend that at a minimum, you invest some of your spare change into companies that are doing AI research and development. I would advocate for Elon Musk's XAI over ChatGPT because of the concerns around built-in biases. You can spend your money how you see fit. Also, I'm not qualified to give financial advice. I have no financial licenses. This is purely a my opinion kind of thing. Don't sue me. All right, everyone. I appreciate you being here. Thank you for stopping by. Hit the subscribe button if you want more literary content, literary journalism, literary news, etc. Hopefully, we're going to have some real big announcements on this channel very soon. In the meantime, thank you for being here, and welcome to the adventure.